So I'm sort of sitting there thinking, what do I do to sort of mess around in the van? And a couple of things mainly are to sort of lighten up the van. Is I've been applying some vinyl wrap that's just a shade lighter than this wood that actually comes with the Adria. Now of course all of this can just be peeled off and we're back to the dark grey on there, which looks very much like, and just excuse the mess at the minute because I'm just doing another job which I'll tell you about in a minute, but that's dark grey was kind of all around there. That dark grey, in the fridge itself it was black. Can we get an angle on the fridge maybe? And so you can see now I've got this kind of vinyl in there, which is not a million miles different from this wood colour that they use, this veneer on these doors in the Adria van. So I just thought that kind of brought it to life for me personally, just lightened it up a little bit. It was a little bit dark in this area, and so when I was sort of sitting here, and I have to excuse all of the mess that I'm doing with other things, it kind of lightens up that whole area. And I did the same on the bottom door, but with the bottom door it's obviously a bit harder because you've not got an edge to butt up to. So I've just done that as neatly as I can do there. And again, I can just pull all this off afterwards if I need to. But then I'm sort of sitting there tonight in home and I'm thinking, what else do I need to do? I need to think about things rattling. And you know how when you've got a camper van, if you've got one or a motorhome, and you're always thinking about where am I going to put the cups, the plates and things and the glasses because they all sort of rattle. So I came up with this sort of weird thought that I had some of the furniture sponge, and I've just started now. I've cut a piece that just sort of fits inside that big drawer at the bottom, and I'm just cutting out bit by bit the shape of some cups and various bits and pieces. So I'll carry on and I'll let you know if it actually works or not. So just in case you sort of saw this and thought, I might have a go at doing that, you might be better if you use like a black coloured sponge, because then it probably would look better than this blue that I've got here. But anyway, hopefully it will take away the rattles. So all I'm doing, I just thought I'd show you, is using a permanent marker, something like that. And I'm drawing around as neatly as I can in an area where each of the kind of cups, glasses and so on will be just far enough away from each other to not be rattling as I'm driving along. And then I'm using a knife, it's just actually a sharpened garden knife, and I'm going to go around each one, which I did with these two cups, and then get underneath and sort of cut as best I can, and then pluck out the centre bit, which then leaves a hole which is not perfect in there by any stretch of the imagination, but it is enough to just sink the cup in. And I thought, rather than trying to find somewhere where I could just buy one, because I'm sure there's stuff, but would it fit the drawer and would it fit the plates that I've got and the glasses that I've got? I thought, sod it, I'm going to have a go and plod along, save a bit of cash and have a bit of a go at making it. So that's 2 cups and 2 glasses. So we are kind of getting there, but I have run out of room for these bigger plates. They will not go in because the depth of the drawer and the space that you've got up to this ledge here just doesn't allow me enough room to get that plate standing on end. And of course I haven't got enough room in there to really do it. So I suppose to some degree this is going to work well in stopping any kind of rattles. And those bowls, by the way, they are stacked, but the bottom one is in the sponge, so it in theory shouldn't move. Maybe they'll move a bit. It would have been nice to have everything in that drawer so that I wasn't kind of wasting space. I suppose I can use bits of space if I want to put other things in there, like utensils or something, but I've still got to find somewhere to put things like the frying pan, so that's going to have to go into that cupboard in there. But that's going to be where the Victron box gets put in. I've now got a date booked for that to happen with a company down south. I've paid the deposit. They're going to do all the Victron electrics on the 14th of January. So that's going to be coming soon, and I shall tell you a little bit more about that as and when we get there. But for now, I've got a bit of space down the back of those glasses, which is going to have to be for easy things to get over them, because otherwise I'm going to have to remove the glasses every time I'm going to the back. So maybe what I should have done is put those further back, and that's what I might do. I might put some other glasses or something else in that space there. But in theory, that should stop a lot of the rattling and stuff when I'm on the road. So yes, in my upside down van, things are slowly starting to come together in a way that I suppose I like, whether anybody else does or not, and the practical things. So I might try, if I'm feeling up to it, because I haven't been feeling too good recently, if I feel better, I might try to go to some sort of camping trip before Christmas or even around Christmas time, just to test out the van with the batteries before the electrics go in, and see. May end up using a campsite, may just sort of try and do a bit of off-grid stuff, not sure yet, it depends on how I feel, but it'd be quite nice to go make some use of the van, because I haven't been anywhere in it for, well, must be 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks even now. So yes, that's what I'll try and do very soon. And then I'll also bring you the update on the electric stuff, and I think the idea is going to be that the Victron inverter charger box will go in the base bottom of there, so which you probably can't see a lot of because it's pretty dark in here, and there's an air fryer in there at the minute, but that bottom cupboard there is probably going to come up to sort of midway up that second shelf. So I should in theory at least be able to keep the top shelf of that cupboard where my pans and things are going at the minute, and the larger plates for now. And maybe somehow they can work it out so I've got some of the use of that space at the front, maybe a half shelf or something, and a bit of half space at the bottom. So that'll be quite useful if I can keep some of that cupboard space there. And then the batteries are there, so they'll run wires from there in that cupboard where the batteries are through into that cupboard, then run wires presumably up here somewhere, maybe under the van, to where the engine batteries for the DC to DC charger, then run the mains wires across here, because under this dinette seat is where the consumer unit is. And as I said in a previous video, if you watched a previous video, then I've got the EcoFlow there as a backup, and if I do go away on a trip before we get to the electrics being done in the middle of January, then I will use that EcoFlow for just running things like the electric kettle, maybe that kind of stuff, just see how it goes. Perhaps the air fryer, might try that. And I've got a little electric induction hob which could kind of go in the place of these gas rings, although I do have a gas can in the back of these vans. It's kind of tucked away right back here. If I can just move those, and I can just get to that and show you. And I've got lots of little gas cans in there too, but it's one of the Gaslow refillable tanks, but it's a tiny little tank, but that'll last me a year, because to be honest with you, I never actually use, or very rarely do I use, the hob in any of the vans that I've had. I have one of those little sort of kind of portable gas stoves that I've had for well over 20 years. It still works perfectly well, and it takes those little canisters that were in the back there, and I tend to use that outside. But then this time of year, of course, I'm not going to be spending much time outside in the rain and the wind. So anyway, that's it for now, for another little update of nonsense and lots of bits of sponge that have, or foam or whatever it's called, that have been cut out of that centre. And the fruits of today's job. Thanks for watching.